Hi there, I'm Yash, and today I'm going to talk about something really interesting, which is in today's market, we have seen that it's quite difficult to land a role. I've seen that often students just graduate out of college and they're trying to find out the positions or the roles open, and they are getting a hard time because it's nothing like what they studied for, or they just end up getting a role which they do not like. They may have very big imaginative dreams, and this video is to make those dreams true. Like, how would you in today's time get this rough market or understand this tough market and be in a position where you can have the leverage and you can apply to jobs and you can get basically any role that you are aiming for with the consistent effort, with a bit of time and patience. And these are the right key or right steps or right directions. There might be other ways out there as well, because at the end of the day it is also about luck, but these are some of the ways that I have seen could consistently improve your position and could help you land those jobs and roles. So yeah, without further ado, just let's get started. The very first thing, and this is a very debatable one, so just wanted to strap it off right off the bat, where I have been asked, hey, does the open to network or open to work, this kind of thing on LinkedIn works? So if you're adding an open to work, there are two things. First, maybe the recruiter or the HR is specifically looking for open to work to make the job easier because their work is to get immediate hires, and you are consistently saying, okay, I'm starting to get roles because I've added the open to work. And the second thing is, which is more realistic to what I have seen, you add the open to work, nothing happens, like nothing changes. You are still looking for the roles and jobs, and it still doesn't give you the effect or the add-on like HRs are or recruiters are reaching out to you. So what I have seen is that in some cases it is said that if you add an open to work, it's kind of sounds like you are just really looking out for a job or something didn't went well because you got layoff or something like that. I personally love when people put it, but at the same time, I advise some better ways. Like, if you do not want to put open to work, you know it doesn't work. In my case, I just removed it and did something different, something that actually worked for me. So, this is the second option of me telling you or advising you, hey, do not put open to work out because it just doesn't work. If it does, then it's like good and well and good. But the other way is, if you can add something like a company where you can show your experience. So this is something which I have find that could work on designer roles, developer roles, engineering roles, management roles. Could be something where you can say, hey, I am just single employee, and I'm going to just shout out to Alice and Joanna here, as well as I'm going to shout out to Yeva and her company AZO here, because these two I found out are really nice. Because I changed my tab, let's go with Yeva and her approach. So she started as a designer, could not find jobs because there were problems in finding out roles, and she changed her approach. Like, hey, I want to show out my work first before showing out like I'm open to work, because at the point that it is much better if you have the public visibility of being a really good practical designer. Once you add that by showing your work and maybe just a personal touch, she adds her dog. Her dog's name is Bella here, and this kind of nice images, the UI kit, and how these work. Maybe there could be comments about how to improve it. Maybe there could be comments about this is going nicely. Maybe people are loving that UX workflows, or maybe it is just still not catching up. It is just still in the process. This is all fine, but changing it from saying, hey, I am open to work, to adding your own brand under your profile is much better. It does wonders. It just shows, okay, I have this, I kind of work in these skills, I have developed these skills, see my work here. Like, you are putting out your brand there. So instead of you looking out for work, your added profile of a brand is doing that for you. Could be an engineering solution where you are showing the best ways to write your code in JavaScript, or maybe a project that you have worked on. Maybe some project gets viral and gives you the publicity or gives you the public awareness of people knowing that, okay, you exist, you have the visibility now. This worked out for me as well because I used to do a lot of Google open source stuff, and in my profile I used to show them, hey, I am doing these stuff even before getting into my company. And I was just showing, okay, hey, these are the things that I'm building, working on with w3c, opening these proposals, making these GitHub contributions, making these contributions on Mozilla, helping out the new web APIs, and so on and so forth. Everything was visible out there because that got me the visibility. Another example was Alice. I love the kind of things where you show, hey, this is my thing, this is my app, these are the kind of things. I think that the posts are currently not up there, but at one point they were, so maybe there's like a rehaul or something going on. But I really love this approach. Show that you are a superstar, you have your own kind of brand there, and that is working out for you. So yeah, let's keep going. And for the next one, I have something which is, I have seen people ask, do junior roles even exist? Because if I were to go on LinkedIn right now and try to find, they would say, hey, there is a junior role. It requires 2 to 5 years of experience. What is that? Why do you need 2 years of experience on a junior role when the whole word is for making a role that people can just directly apply and learn on the job? That's what junior means. So it's kind of a facade. Junior roles do not exist. That's bad. But I have seen one more thing, which is I have seen professionals who are senior in this position, who have done more work, like more than 5 years, and they are taking up those junior roles because, first of all, there is a scarcity of getting the roles. Second of all, if a company can get a better, more experienced employee at a junior position, why wouldn't they hire that candidate? So a two-way thing where I've seen that, okay, the senior roles are there, but it's difficult to get to them. The junior roles are there, but there are a lot of people applying because the ladder is much crowded at the bottom. It is always less crowded at the top. Maybe for very senior positions, you actually get a much higher acceptance rate, but for the junior roles, it is difficult right now. So, what to do in this regard? I would say strip away or remove any kind of word that says junior in your LinkedIn or resume. I would also strip away any senior or any lead or any manager. Just show the actual role. Just show yourself as designer, engineer, UX engineer, UX designer, product designer. Just show that you are doing the role. Maybe show that what projects you have built. If your years of experience is a positive side, show that as well. So make sure that your resume is actually making you sound like, okay, you are an established engineer only because you want to get to the role first, and you have done some work. And I will come to that, like how to even like not fake your junior or seniority, but actually get some experience through events, personal project, open source projects, and more. But yeah, for this point I would say just remove the word junior, and it would give you some kind of better metrics in getting shortlisted. So yeah, let's keep going. And one more important thing, and this is the most important of all, I have seen people get into roles when they have proper networking and they use that networking channel to get the roles rather than just being an average Joe, which is like just an average person, and he's just applying or she's just applying to those roles without even knowing the other side of the board, without being kind of like, you need to add some bias there. You need to add some bias by being a candidate who's referred to by the company, who is knowing some people by the company, who has network in the company. And this is kind of a difficult it's difficult. It's kind of a difficult task to like find someone. So how do you even do that? One of the best ways that I have seen is by contributing to open source. It could be that you are starting off in your journey and you do not know, so you just search up open source and you just search up the technologies. It could be that you have positioned yourself where you can apply to like bigger open source programs. Maybe Google Summer of Code is one, or maybe the Linux Foundation is one of them. So these things can help you out as well. The other aspect that I have seen is also being in events and being in talks, being a visible person in the community who is talking and who is making those posts, who is making those events. I believe only 1% of LinkedIn users post. So that already brings you to the top 1% when you start posting. When you start speaking and talking at events, it already brings you at the very top of those levels as well. So yeah, my point here is make sure that you network, make sure that you understand like open source projects, which is like one of my other videos. I show how I became a Google developer expert previously, an ex Google developer expert at this point, and how did I started with some open source contributions. And maybe there is another video out there about Google Summer of Code if you want that particular aspect of open source. For events and talks, I would say look out for communities, look out for Google developer groups out there, look out for other developer groups out there. Make sure that you can first at least attend a talk, understand how the format and things go, and then maybe request, hey, I would love to have my own talk at some point, and network and be more friends with people, be more person with a personality rather than someone who is just an average Joe and just applying to roles. But yeah, that would be my advice. The last one, and this is the most important one, is interview leverages. So I would say just take a pause here and try to understand what would even interview leverage mean. What it means is when you are at an interview, don't think like you don't have anything and once you get the job, you will find the job and you are the person who is looking out for job. Instant reflect on that. They are looking out for an employee so that they can close out that role. It is as difficult for them as well. Make sure you are the solution to that problem. Ask why this role is even open, what is the purpose of this role, what are the challenges behind this role, and try to close it out with tailoring specific to the context of needs of the role application. Should be your way of sounding, should be your uh, answer, should be your resume and all the other things. So a different resume for every job, maybe slightly a little bit of changes, and maybe a Google Doc that has some common points that you can just pull up and reuse. Showing your personality is important. I have taken a lot of interviews rather than giving a lot of interviews by being in the Google Summer of Code, being an rising up to the level that I am an org administrator next to Andrew and Claudia for the Liquid Galaxy, a very powerful, very interesting Google Summer of Code project. Just shout out to them. And I have seen that whenever I'm talking to someone, if they have a very nice personality, I would take that personality higher over someone who has speaking skills but no soft skills, like they don't want to communicate. It's difficult for us to understand their current status. It is difficult to communicate or make sure that we are on the same page. So communication is the key out there as well. Make sure whenever you are not getting a response with your recruiter, make sure to say that, hey, you have already found out a really nice candidate and I was looking at this role and I've also worked in the same field. It would be very interesting if we can push to the next stages. It would be very interesting to know the next challenges for this, because you are the solution who the hiring manager has already liked, or you are the solution who the company has already referred to, and you are the solution to their problem. Would be an interesting way or a leverage to put it in the best way possible. But yeah, that is all the things I wanted to cover about how to get any role in today's market. And congratulations, you have come to the end of this video. And I hope that these key takeaways could help you make sure that you can master these kind of challenges whenever they are put up to the real test. Feel free to comment down in the video what kind of situation or problems you are facing in the market, and I'll be very happy to answer them. But yeah, that was all for this video, and have a very nice day. Thank you for watching.